Okay, I'd like to touch on something here. I'm decided that I saw the valve cover leaking, so I said, okay, let me take out the plugs. I'm going to put some E3 plugs in. I've heard good things about them, better gas mileage and whatnot. But I decided to adjust the rock runs. I thought this motor had a little bit of a tick. Hopefully it's not knocking. Um, I don't think it is. It really sounded like it was on the top here, but I heard about other people doing it, so that's why I didn't pay it no mind when I even looked at the car. But just to give you guys an idea, what I noticed, because other people say that you just turn the engine over until the flat spots, or you can do number one. But ultimately, if it's a 3-cylinder and you got you try to turn it 120 degrees. Right now, I got two 12-inch extensions with this ratchet here, and it seems to be a long time that both valves are closed. Both sets of valves are closed. So far, I've adjusted these four, I've adjusted these two, adjusted these two, and now I did this one. I'm just going to show you what I did. These seem to be okay in the middle here. I always try to adjust it in whatever the spec is for being tight. But let's see if I can set this phone up that you can see it. Is that the last one? Okay, so basically, I noticed that when you are tightening this, I could keep tightening this. I could just keep going, and I'm like, oh yeah, and then you really can't. I realized that you really can't get it out. I was getting it out, but it's not an American old car, so I can't, do the same thing. But ultimately, as soon as you cannot move it at all, like with barely tugging it. See, whoop, that little bit of a movement. I hope you can see it on the thing. There's a little bit of play in that screwdriver. Right there, just got less. That's like really where you want to do it, So, it's a little hokey-dokey because of so many degrees that you can adjust it in. And everybody seems to be doing all four. And I hope I'm not in trouble with that. Because like other cars, it's like, okay, well, you adjust it when you have... the exhaust side going up while the other one is coming down. It's kind of weird. But we shall see. I can always go back. I mean, I didn't adjust it enough to make anything, blow up. But like right there, that intake came up, and you got a lot of degrees. You got like 30 degrees in between. So this is where the play is. And these are the only two I didn't adjust. And this is the 7. This is supposed to be 7,000ths. I think this was kind of tight, or I went. It's the reason why I didn't do this because the intake is 7 to 9 and the exhaust is 8 to 10. I mean, back in the day, if anything like that happened, a guy would just be like 8,000. That's it. The 8 is the common denominator with all of them. Or 9 even, for that matter. And I'm the one that likes to go all the way on the... See, look, that's the 8. And it's like, wow, I really can't get it in there. I got it kind of halfway in. And I think the same thing over here. So, I don't want to push my luck for ultimately nothing. And still being within its thing. Like, I'm kind of forcing it in, but it's a little on the tight side. Like I said, you can actually force this in and push the valve down. so tiny, and everything's tiny on this motor, so that's why that's happening like that. But just wanted to do this video real quick. One other thing, I basically got the whole training in. This is a pretty easy training to do. Once you got all this junk off here, obviously you got to put the air cleaner back in. But all the plugs plug in pretty quickly. I'm getting 3 new bolts for the bracket here, okay, because the heads are rusty and I had to beat on a smaller socket to get them off. And the same thing with the junkyard motor. They were pretty much kind of, I think I got 2 out of the 3 off. So, and then I can put this cable back in. I'll lube up the edge here. Like I said, I used this guy from the range sensor from the junkyard motor. But I got all the, I got the axles in, I got everything in. I was thinking about taking off this EGR valve. I hear people clean them out or something like that. Like I said, this is a completely new venture for me, this car. But I must say, I drained some of the fluid out. There's nothing, I left the these guys that the junkyard had in there the whole time, and then nothing came out when I took them off, okay? So I took out the plug here, and I pretty much got red fluid. So I'm like, okay, there's probably no water in it. I may just fill it to where it's full and then run it, make sure everything works. And then when I get the, because I haven't got the, what do you call it in the mail? I haven't gotten the filters. I mean, I just ordered them yesterday, but I had to go through a lot of trouble with the exhaust bolts there. And then this one here, one of the balls fell out because it kind of overextended itself. Yeah, tranny mounts are expensive. I believe a lot of these Hondas have like you could just put two halves in for like the what do you call it? Like the polyurethane stuff. So I might go that route. I want to see if other people are doing that yet. And basically this transmission, all it has, okay, you see that bolt right there, one, and then there's one more up there in that corner. Can I shine that light? Yeah, right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom of the pan here. And then you got two on this side. You got one right there and one above the starter, and then you know obviously you take out the two starter bolts, and then inside there you got 5/16 heads on the 6 torque converter bolts. And it goes, especially when you have this set up with this. I left this in there to do the adjustment. You know, this ratchet. I just kept turning it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's pretty easy trainy. It's a little bit cumbersome. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of top heavy, but it's also bottom heavy. Like it's 2/3 heavy, you know. But all these mounts are kind of funny. But it is what it is. Hopefully the starter doesn't usually get much use, because if your IMA system is working, you know, the main battery, it doesn't start with the starter when you crank the engine. It uses the AC power. Vroom, just like you turn the key and then it's on, you know. And but when your regular when your the big battery is low, then it takes over with the 12 volt. I got myself a new battery. This is all got to get bolted in. Can't do it yet until this is in. When I get those bolts for that, I'll put these spark plugs in, put the coils back on. Must say everything's pretty good so far. Hopefully AC works, things like that. I haven't done anything with the belt yet. I may not bother right now. I may want to buy the water pump and whatnot, so because I think it's kind of silly to change a belt, and this might have literally 180,000 miles on it. So if that's the original water pump, I mean, I'm not going to take a chance like that. I just assume do it. And it's probably easy enough to do. It's a little tight in there, but I'm sure from the bottom it would be easy. But I may just get it and be done with it. Of course, I did a couple of Rock Auto transactions. I should have just thrown that in there. I think I had it in my mind and I forgot. Because when you're buying parts, you think in your head. I don't write anything down. That would be too easy. But you write things down, or you have things in your head, and then you see the car, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that. Because the car in front of you when you're ordering the parts, so you should though. So anyway, this is the Honda Insight. I got it registered today. I sold my other car, and it's in pretty good shape, other than these like alien badges that this guy put on. I took out the Honda badges. I didn't even realize it, because I'm so like out of touch with all this stuff. This was a red hood at one time. He said that this was changed and that was changed. You could tell it was red, and there's a misalignment here. But I don't know if that's because of the door. It seems like this is kind of aligned, but then again, it looks like it can go in more. So if that went in and this came out a little bit, looks like it's kind of close down here. So the accident might have nipped this. Nipped the door. So who knows? But that's minor for me. I always have dents on my cars. I could care less, but it's a cute little car. So hopefully this will really work out well when all is said and done, and I'll get some good gas mileage. I'm going to try to strive to get, the high side, close to 70. That's what they say. Or at least like 66 is the high for automatic, I think. So, but I'm hoping these E3 plugs, some guys get more with those. because you're supposed to index the plugs, and this looks like the original plugs. So the guy said he was getting 58 miles to the gallon, so I know I can get at least 62 just by changing the plugs. I see the little B, and on the side of the head here there's a letter B right in there. So they just goes to show you to use that. I know the guy who designed your car knows more about cars than me or you, and you shouldn't mess with it. But a lot of people have said that they put the right number B's in there, and then it really wasn't indexed right. But then there's a conflicting situation of what is actually the index one. People say it faces the VTEC intake valve versus the other one, and it's hard to say. And these guys here are kind of like, basically all open, and other than falling, well, it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So it's kind of hard to mess that up. Sorry, I gotta put my reading glasses on because I can't see if I got. Okay, there you go. Yeah, ultimately it'd be nice if that went in like that. So if it goes in straight, I would want to, like this E symbol to come up there. I guess that unscrews. We tried. But it's supposed to be a decent design, and other people have had good results with it. So I'll see. It's not easy to really tell if it's indexed or not to any degree, but I really don't know if the open part. It's funny because when you start looking at it, you gotta look at other people's videos and see where the hell these things land. But I might just take a chance and see. I can always get the B's. They're just at $20 a piece for an NGK plug, and I think that's highway robbery. Actually, they're $25 each now, I think. I'm sure I can, find a dealer website that would have them cheaper, but this is going to be interesting, I must say. They look pretty nice, and it would be nice if they did what they said they do and whatnot. And some people have said they got, in 78 miles to the gallon. They said they actually put the stock plugs in, they got 10 miles per gallon less. I still think it has more to do with the indexing and how the system is not perfect. So guys just use regular plugs too, and they'll go to a speed shop and they'll get the regular indexing washers to put on there. And but I got to make a reference point of some sort to make sure I don't mess that up. And then I got to look in there with the camera and whatnot. So it's like, wow, it's a lot just to mess with that. So that's basically it. I would just like to drive it and then really see, okay, what else do I need to invest in, but obviously the stuff that I was talking about is decent, decent things to do to it. He said there were no codes, but I did change the lower oxygen sensor when I did the exhaust and the exhaust donut and the bolts. And the top one looked like it was done. See, this says Delphi. This the top oxygen sensor definitely looks like somebody had changed it, and that's the expensive one. So that's a good one. I guess I put a Denso one. No, I put this other one. Trusted, reliable quality. Yeah. Who am I kidding? It was cheap. I spend a fortune on cars every year on all my cars. So something like this, I'll just throw a cheap one in, see what happens. And I just changed it because it didn't look like it was changed. And 188,000 miles, even if it's working, it's got to be a lazy one. So I'd like to get the oil. I have training fluid already. And, I ordered the valve cover gasket too because it's definitely leaking in the water port, so I should have it by noon tomorrow roughly. I'll be in the city for a little bit and then I'll have to come back because I have to do something for work very quickly, but it's a long ride. And then once I get that done, then I can come back and start working on the car again. So, all right, this video is longer than I expected, but that's basically it. I basically did the valve adjustment. I put roll in. It's a very easy transmission for the most part. You can get at all the bolts fairly well with power tools. So, I would do that again. If somebody had one. But the challenge would be to rebuild, that one, figure out how to do that. And the first book I got didn't have, it said transaxle in it, and it doesn't, it was other things too. It was like a supplemental catalog, but I decided to buy the full catalog as well I figured this guy would send it quicker, and he did send it quicker, but the it did not have anything basically for the transaxle except for some kind of like with relation to the fuel system. So it was basically showing you the TPS sensor and how it relates to the transmission. So it was kind of a waste of money, but it's fine. It wasn't that much. And that's it for now. All right. Thanks for watching. And got any questions? You let me know. But just wanted to add that in because I have skeptical views on how that is, but it looks like there's so much non-movement when you rotate it that it's not a big deal. It looks like you have a long margin of error to adjust the valves on. So regardless, if you got 10,000 out of it and you brought it down to 8,000, it can't be that bad. Obviously, wherever it has the most play is where it's supposed, is where the lowest spot is. So then, basically, I made them all 8. So it can only be looser, if anything, if I didn't have it in the right spot. Alrighty, thanks for watching.